Good afternoon from the World Export Development Forum. My name's Deepesh Patel, editor at Trade Finance Global. Trade Finance Global are delighted to be media partners with the WEDF, and we're delighted to have just finished our panel session, Access to Finance. So joining me today, I have Degi from Khan Bank, thank you very much for joining, and Hohete from African Fintech Network, thank you very much. So to start off with, let's talk about SMEs, access to finance, hugely underserved segment of the trade finance sector. You guys at Khan Bank increased your market share of SME support from 20 to 50% at Khan Bank. That's huge. Can you give me a bit more detail?
Okay, thanks so much. And Khan Bank 2019, Khan Bank market share for the SME was just about 20%. And so now, as of the 2023, it's increased to the almost 50%. So there was a couple of things we looked into it. And first, we looked into our SME strategy. So where would be this SME business segment has to be. And certainly it's the big sector, and it has to be separate from any other like sectors, retail or corporate. So it has to be really standing itself. And then operational wise, we did a couple of things, and then they centralized some credit analysis, and then also we providing some fundings to the SMEs, particularly in the women in business. And because we think that the women in business program itself is quite promising and a growth sector. And then also through our business incubator, we supported a lot of SMEs on a training program. In the last 2.5 years, we provided almost 1,500 women, they get the training from us. And with this kind of support, not only financial and also non-financial services also helped us to grow the business in the bank. Yeah.
Thanks, Degi. And public-private partnerships, especially the likes of what the International Trade Center are supporting, are crucial. Can you talk a bit more about how they're working in reality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the SME side, there's a lot of collaborative approaches needed. The policy-wise, there's a strong policy support is needed, and good corporate credit guarantee fund operation. It has to be effectively to work in it, and then also there is some equity support is very needed for small and medium enterprises. And so in Mongolia we have a credit guarantee fund and operating, and in some ways it's working, in some ways there's some challenges, and so oftentimes SMEs lacks on the collateral. So this credit guarantee funds very important, crucial role for for those whose SMEs not qualifying the collateral requirement. So, and with this kind of support is very much needed for the SME lending here.
Thank you very much, and Hohete, over to you now. And I think that regional, localized approach is very important when it comes to supporting African MSMEs in terms of access to trade finance. What can you talk about the wider picture?
Thank you, Deepesh. Whenever we talk about Africa, I always have to point out that Africa is actually 54 separate independent countries, each with its own political, economic, regulatory landscape. So what works in one country may not work in another country. So we have tremendous potential all across the African continent. We have the burgeoning youth population. We have incredible youth that are up and coming, that are digitally native. We have expanded infrastructure that's happening, and we have the costs of smartphones that are coming down. So it's absolutely poised for a fintech revolution all across the continent. But looking at each country independently and then looking at it regionally is, I think, what needs to happen, because what typically didn't work or couldn't work in East Africa ended up working in West Africa and vice versa. So I think we need to look at each scenario separately.
Thank you very much. And talking about regionality and supporting intra-African trade, are you seeing benefits coming out of the recently launched African Continental Free Trade Agreement?
The African Continental Free Trade Agreement and PAPS is something that we're looking forward to. Is something that we're looking forward to getting implemented. But like I said, having each country having its own regulatory environment, legal and policy environment, and sometimes even the political will and commitment that may not be there to make the changes that are necessary. I think there is a lot of lip service that is given to AFCFTA, and I think there are going to be countries that work and countries where it's going to take it a while to get off the ground.
Thank you very much, Hohete-Berhan. It's been a pleasure taking over the International Trade Centre's WEDF broadcast. Back over to you.